Okay, I'd like to call the meeting
Oh,
to order, please, ladies and gentlemen. As we meet today, we acknowledge that we live in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and ancestral territory of Mi'kmaq people. We are all treated people with a responsibility to each other and to this land. Now we have the in-person public forum. If anyone would like to speak, please state your name and civic address. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. Evening, everybody. And special guest,
What's your civic address?
152 Central, Chester. Christina Nickel. I'm speaking as a resident and as the most recent volunteer director of the Zoe Valley Library. I'm providing documents tonight and speaking to facts evidenced by FOIPOP records and public meetings. I ask that these documents, along with my statement, be entered into the written record, circulated to the commission, reflected in the minutes, and included in next month's agenda package so they are readily accessible to the public. First, an October 7th, 2025 letter addressed to the chair from the South Shore Public Libraries was included in the Village Commission's RFP proposal for the Zoe Valley Library. On October 10th, after consulting with the SSPL board, the author withdrew the letter and requested, please delete and destroy the earlier letter I sent you. The letter nevertheless remained in the proposal. This raises a serious concern under section 6(1) of the Code of Conduct under the Municipal Government Act, which requires village commissioners to be truthful and forthright. Second, in an internal village commission email dated November 28th, 2025, the chair wrote that council had decided both RFP respondents must attend its December 11th meeting to make a public presentation. The same email states that a majority of MODC council wanted that discussion to occur publicly before making its decision, showing that council itself saw value in allowing that discussion to occur in public. It is therefore deeply concerning that no such public discussion took place, particularly given the chair's email stating that the commission's only recourse was to decline the public presentation and that avoiding that public forum was the prime directive. This raises further concerns about fairness and transparency. Under the transparency provisions of the Code of Conduct, village commissioners are required to be responsible for their decisions, accountable for their actions and outcomes, and to communicate information openly to the public. Third, after residents spoke respectfully against moving village offices into the library, the chair said publicly and on record, I literally don't care. That remark is difficult to reconcile with the standards of professionalism, respect, and public responsibility expected of elected office. Taken together, these records describe a pattern of decision-making and conduct in which the chair played a direct and documented role. You took oaths to uphold your offices. These oaths are not ceremonial. They are meant to govern how power is exercised and how decisions affecting this village, its residents, and the use of their tax dollars are made. Public office does not give unlimited discretion to any one office holder. It imposes duty. I'll let the record stand as to whether your oaths have been honored. Thank you.
Anybody else like to say anything? Are we prepared to approve the agenda? Any additions or revisions? Okay. Then may I have a motion that the agenda of the Chester Village Commission's March 18th, 2026 regular monthly meeting be approved as presented? Thank you, Tom. Second?
Did we
Thank
approve
you,
the
Maria.
agenda itself?
We usually do. It's
Yeah,
not
no, I just.
absolutely necessary.
Oh, I see. Okay, very good.
Approval of the minutes of the February 18th. Minutes, meetings. Draft motion at the minutes of the Chester Village Commission's February 2026 monthly meeting be approved as presented. Are there any amendments? No?
So moved.
Thank you, Randy.
Or, yeah.
Second, February 25th, that the minutes of the Chester Village Commission's February 25th, 2026 special meeting be approved as presented. Thank you.
second that. Okay, but.
Who seconded? Mulrooney.
Okay. One of
Mulroney's L&T.
And now we would like to introduce the Chester Fire Services Committee budget with Kurt Polita and Norm Countway. Unfortunately, our chief is not here this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to present the draft Fire and Emergency Services budget. And just to give a little background, so the Chester Fire Services Committee final draft of 26-27 Fire and Emergency Services budget version 5 is attached for consideration and approval of the Village Commission. The previous working draft version 3 and proposed tax rate was presented at the committee's annual general meeting. And this was held on Thursday, February 12th, 2026 for the ratepayers of the Chester Volunteer Fire Department's service area districts 3, 7, and a part of 1. Several members of the municipal council and the village commission were in attendance at the meeting, and the same draft was provided for information to council and commission in advance of the AGM. An updated draft was provided by the Chester Fire Service Committee at the monthly meeting on March 11, 2026. And so tonight, both myself and Norm Countway, who is the vice chair, will be here to present the budget and answer any questions. So on the next slide. The first thing I want to talk about is the summary of the rate increases for the Chester Fire Service Committee. So as you may or may not remember, this committee came about 3 years ago. And when we started, the assessment, the fire tax rate was 7.4 cents per 100. And that rate had been unchanged for many years. And while it was great for taxpayers, it did not allow us to provide funding for some of the equipment in the station that we need today to be able to meet the needs of the fire service. So in 23-24, we're at the start of the budgeting process with the committee. What we attempted to do, or what we made an agreement to do, was that we would increase the tax rate gradually over the coming years until we reached one of two thresholds. One would be the average of the municipality, and also two, to allow funding to support equipment and a new fire station for the municipality. So you can see in 24-25 we increased the rate to 9.4 cents. 25-26 it was 11.4, and then this year in our proposed budget, or approved budget at this time, is 13.4 cents. And one of the things we talked about when we talked to our committee council about the need to raise more money through increased taxes and other means was to support the build of a new station and the equipment needed. And what you can see here is that on this slide, between 84 and 95% of the additional monies that we are collecting through the increased taxes is going to capital and reserves. When we started, Chester had the lowest fire tax rate in the municipality for many years. And as I said, we decided to gradually increase. There was some discussion, perhaps we needed to go to a higher rate right away. And we thought it would be better for the residents and for the municipality to do it gradually. And also it would allow us time as we get further along with the fire station project to understand the real need for revenue to cover the cost of the bill. So next year's rate will be based on the need for the construction of the new fire hall. The next slide really just talks about the comparison. So you can see on the right, our fire tax rate this year will be 13.4 cents. That's for the 26-27, and the average in the municipality of the District of Chester, the average for 25-26 is actually 13.7 cents. So we're still slightly below the average, but that's assuming that none of the other jurisdictions increase their tax rate into the 26-27 year. So what I'm going to do is go through the budget just in summary. And this is the final draft, version 5. The working draft from the AGM had some important data missing because actually when we do the budget, we don't have the tax assessments, and we don't know exactly where the assessment is going to be. So what we do is we look at the assessment for the previous year and add a small amount for inflation so that we have a working number. And then as that information becomes available, we update the budget proposal. In drafting the budget, we compare the budgets and actuals for the past 3 to 4 years. So we actually go line by line and not just with the committee. We also involve the fire chief and his team to go through it. And we look at all of the lines. Do we need as much money in certain items, or do we need more based on the need in the fire department? And so in drafting the budget, we compare the budgets, the actuals for the past 3 to 4 years, and we consider the patterns working closely with the fire department. A summary of the operating and capital revenue and expenses are included here as a snapshot to easily compare the total revenue versus total expenses. The revenue summary indicates allocation of property tax revenue and operations and capital expenses. It also shows separately in blue the project loans for the fire station project. The expenses summary breaks down operations, other capital, and capital fire station projects separately in blue, so the financials for the project are easy to understand. So you can see total revenue on this slide is 2.7 million, and the total expenses 2.6 million. I want to talk about the extra dollars. So on the next page, next slide, the budget document shows the current fiscal year 25-26 to show its budget report on the year-to-date status. So that's a snapshot at the 11th month of the year. But one of the things I'll talk about here is that when we go through the budget, we plan for certain equipment or replacement or expenses throughout the year. But a lot of times, in most cases, we do not make some of the bigger purchases until the fourth quarter, because it is our responsibility to make sure that we meet the budget and total dollars what's approved. So it's a way of budgeting to make sure that we don't overspend, we don't spend any money and then be short because of unforeseen things as we get through the year. So when you look at the 11th, 12th, you're going to see some expenses that are below budget. And that's because the invoices hasn't come in for some of the expenses, or they just haven't been made, and they will be made before the budget end, the year ends for the budget. And so operational revenue, this is revenue generated from the tax rate, which is 13.4 cents per 100 of assessment and across the service area. And it's the same rate whether you're in the village or outside, or whether it's residential or commercial. Roughly 1/3 of the property tax revenue will be used for operations and 2/3 for capital. And okay. So the next slide is operating expenses details. So in the interest of time, I'm only going to summarize each section and note that the annual CPI is 2.1 for this year. The operations budget is day-to-day cost of running the fire department and administration. So if you look in this particular we're budgeting 75,000 on a budget of 71 in 25, 26. And we increased for legal and insurance, those two things. And the first two items are the Chester Fire Services share of the village staff. This represents 25% for Heather, 50% for Maxine, and 25% of the former rent costs. This is up 5.3% to get a little more realistic with some of the numbers based on the actual spend this year, like office supplies, which includes annual office equipment purchases and include the CPI and staff rates. Next slide, please. So in this particular one, there's very little change. This is only up 2.2%, or roughly the same as last year. And training and education is up 2.5%, so roughly the same as last year. And the increase is due to the bursary. So the fire department offers a bursary to students, graduating students. And I think, well, we all believe in the fire committee that this is a great way to stay engaged with younger people in the community. And we are very, very fortunate in our fire department that we have roughly 50 volunteers, a lot of them are younger people. And this is a way of still reaching out and being connected through this bursary program. And it's been at $2,000 for some time. And so we increased it this year to $3,000. And oh yeah, and the other thing on the top item on the firefighting force, we increased the uniform because obviously we had spent more than we had budgeted this year, and there's still a need to replace uniforms. Next slide, please. Okay. So firefighting equipment. This has been increased 12% to allow for additional tools and equipment and a projected increase in insurance. So we went on tools and equipment from 7,500 in the budget this year to 10,000, and we increased the insurance by not quite $2,000, and that's based on current rates. And the personal protective equipment, same as this year. Note that the PPE and bunker gear has been ordered. And these are one of the items that tend to hold us to the end of the year. So we left that budget in 26, 27, the same as this year. Operational expenses. So communication. So there is, so you can see that this year we budgeted 31.5 on last year of 59,000. And this is a reduction of 47% this year because of two factors. The new radio purchase that was completed last year, and the trunk mobile radio costs are now being borne by the province. This was a cost that was originally in the budget other years, and now the province has taken it over. So you can see in communications, we're 25,000 this year versus 52,000 in last year's budget. And then maintenance, this shows an increase of 27%, mainly due to vehicle maintenance, and we had an accident-driven surprise this year, so the need to allow more buffer in the future. So you can see that under vehicle maintenance this year, at the 11th, 12th of the year, we were 63,000 on the budget of 30. So we increased that this year as a precaution to 50,000.
Excuse me, Kurt, for a second. The fuel issue was those numbers were before Trump started the war over there.
Yeah, we increased it.
We increased it by 40%.
Yeah.
Oh, we already did it.
Yeah, we
Okay,
did that.
super.
We made a revision. And hopefully things calm down.
Yeah, well, yeah, but still you can't.
Yeah, we
use it
can't-
somewhere else.
So next line, fire station building. So this shows an increase of 28% over this year, which is mainly due to the decision to consolidate the maintenance in operations with the one under capital, and shows this figure combined, so you can see it's 50,000 versus 15, but it's a combined number from which previously was split out. And this also allows us money for maintenance on the existing fire station. And there's some things that will come up there that we need to address. So we put a bit of a buffer in there for that reason. And then under fireboat, the Water Rescue Small Boat Program is a landmark municipality-wide cooperative, and 5 of the 7 departments have signed on to participate. And so we're not sure. This is a placeholder amount in the budget this year, 10,000, until we know exactly what the cost is going to be and what our share will be from this fire department. So subtotal operating, in total, there's a 9.3% increase in operating costs projected. Operating reserves. So this isn't really a budget item, as under the Municipal Government Act. Any surplus in the operating budget is required to go into the operating reserve. So actually has no impact on the spending, mainly for us to recognize that if there is a surplus next year, it has to be moved. So capital allocation. This is the new way of optimizing or organizing the budget, showing the allocation of property tax funds to go to capital expenses based on maintaining a balanced budget and operation. Any surplus or deficit will be captured in the operating expenses. And then capital revenue. Again, this is new in the way we're expressing the capital budget separately from the operating budget. And the revenue shows, excuse me, the revenue shows the allocation of property tax transferred from building reserve items is this year's unspent loan repayment line item, which will be moved to reserve so that we can be reallocated in the coming year. The loan funding for the capital fire station project is broken separately in blue text so it can be easily identified. Phase 2, which is the final design phase going now, was a total of 1.3 million spread over 2 years. So you can see that in this year it was 314,000, and the remainder of that 1.3 million is the 985,000, which is in the budget year 26-27. Phase 3, which is the bill, is yet to be determined, and that will be spread over 2 to 3 years. And we won't know exactly how much will be needed to borrow to finance the bill until we get to the end of phase 2. But we will be back with a borrowing and repayment plan for approval once we have a Class B estimate. And the expectation is we'll have that by the end of May. And the entire project, all phases, including the previous spend, has a ceiling, a hard ceiling, I might say, of $20 million. And if you were very fortunate to have Wilson Fitt as our project director, and he has a long history of that type of work. And anybody that knows him will know that he will hold the project to that cap. So, like I said, we're very fortunate to have somebody like him on that committee and looking after this project. Capital expenses. So capital equipment, this includes new thermal imaging cameras currently under consideration, and the capital line item for the existing fire station repairs has been discontinued, as I talked about earlier. Any of these items are consolidated into the operational building maintenance as noted before. The deposit for new 541 truck will not be needed in this fiscal year. We had hoped to have the RFP vote before now, but it hasn't been out, so we won't be needing that money in this year's budget. And as determined last year, will go into apparatus reserve. And the new amount represents a 10% deposit. The tender will go shortly, and then a supplier must be chosen. So this is a few months away. And then the new station project. The line items include represent the cost for the consultants phase 2, including the architects, engineers, the project managers, and eventually phase 3 construction costs. This is funded by capital loan. The loan repayments represent the interest-only payments that are required as loan funds are drawn down for the project. So the committee does not receive the loan as a lump sum at the beginning. Portions are requested in installments as invoices come in, so the payments increase incrementally. We just received an invoice for $314,000 this week, so the bank has not yet billed us for repayment. Other fees for the new station include communications, web and social media management. You can see that amount is listed there. To keep the public as informed as possible. And I think that, our committee has been doing a good job informing the public and keeping things out there, along with the fire department. And it also includes surveying, legal fees for land registration, etc. This is unchanged, and the administration is 25% of the village management staff hour. Heather, which shows a CPI increase while removing all allowance for accounting that we had in this year's budget.
It's actually 15%, that's a typo.
Oh, sorry. Okay. And capital totals, excluding the new station consultant fees, the increase of the capital budget was 38%, which is mainly projected increase in the deposit required for the new truck and the loan repayments. Half of the loan repayment is being funded by the unspent funds for this year. And then on to reserves. We're planning on a total of 23% increase to apparatus and building reserve deposits next fiscal year, which is 57% of the increase in tax revenue. And the amounts are listed there. And then total expenses. At the end of the day, the total expenses are 22.8% more in this budget compared to revenue increase of 25.6%, excluding the Blue Fire Station project runs. So what I would ask is that you consider this, and so I make a motion that the Village of Chester Commission approves the Chester Fire Services Committee 26-27 Fire and Emergency Services budget and its proposed fire tax rate of 13.4 cents per 100 for assessment. And thank you for your time.
Any questions, anybody? I'd like to move that motion. Thank you, Gloria.
Yeah.
All in favor? All opposed? Recorded vote, no?
Yes, please.
Recorded vote? The motion is passed.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, I would assume that you gentlemen would probably like to excuse yourself.
Yeah, so we were.
I give you my
rude.
I give you my list.
Waiting conversation that's coming up.
Well,
Another fire meeting.
Yeah. So before I go, I'd just like to thank the commissioners for hearing the budget tonight and for your support for the fire department.
Thank you. Now you gotta get it past the MOGC now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next week.
We have lots of hurdles, yeah. Thank you.
Guys, thank you.
Thanks for coming, guys. Take care.
Yeah, Tom is off to First Hills.
Sides.
Bye. Yeah. I don't know, I can't keep track of all the
The
meetings.
fire advisory committee for the municipality, so all fire,
Yeah.
all 7 departments.
Okay, so correspondence, fire modernization, Q and A, did anybody? We'll just go through this, I'm assuming that you saw it in your package, okay? The new FOIP regulations and the ANSB board. Yeah. Okay, report from the chair. So I did, the municipality asked for a, report on the beautification and revitalization project that they came and presented to us. And they asked for it to be done by the end of February, so I busted away and got it in at the end of February. Haven't heard a word from them since. But very briefly, we were working on a budget of $5,000 that's there. And then I was assuming, and I'm making an assumption, it may or may not be passed, that we would also put in $5,000. But the part that I proposed to them for their $5,000 was some work on the Gibla. John, you and I did some recognition down there. But I worked further down where it wouldn't be so, like when you and I were looking at it, we were looking up at the very edge where it was very steep still and would be quite expensive to level out. So I worked down closer to where the monument is. And it's getting very messy down there, like over the years, the gravel's gotten very messy and so on. And it doesn't, to me, do justice to the monument, to the fire department.
Is this the gym block you're talking
Yeah.
about, Kevin?
They just cut a bunch of trees in, they did, but not at our expense. But Buddy, apparently who lives at the top of the hill, he's been dying for years to get that tree cut down
Is
to,
that Mr. Curry?
get a view, right?
Always did,
But,
that's Curly's.
The tree was hollow and completely rotten. And so he saw his, moment of glory and paid somebody to take it down, so we didn't have to pay for it, and it would have had to come down, there's no question, it was rotten right through. You could see it, like when that branch came down, the inside of the tree was completely hollow. So it saved us a dollar or two. So what I proposed to them was we would level out, and we got Stephen Collicott to come in and give us a financial estimate. Would level it out and put a very small rock wall, very attractive rock wall in front of the 2 monuments, the big one and the small one of the original members. And then there used to be lovely little paths there, and they've all just kind of disintegrated over the years. So we looked at putting a path over and leveling out a place where you could put 2 picnic tables and some benches over on the side, not right in front of the monument, obviously.
But on the same level.
Yeah, on the same level, but leveling things out so that people weren't walking uphill and making it difficult. So Stephen came back with a proposal of $5,000, but it was very rough, and I told him, we understand it's rough. And we would, rather than going over budget, we would do less. Yeah. And then that did not include a fence, as you recall, we had to take down the fence because it was rotting. And theoretically, I would like to get on our budget if we decide to do it to start, since there's no way we can afford to do the whole fence around the property, but it would be nice to just put a bit of a picket fence across the front to hide like the garbage container. And just make it kind of look the way it was originally. It's all very up in the air, especially since they haven't gotten back.
This is Gibbs's plaque. Is that
It's
gonna
she's
be-
way over there.
But that's on a rock, isn't it?
Yeah,
or something?
it's kind of odd because that's where you and I.
Yeah, that's, you remember where the fence came down the hill?
Yeah.
Triangle,
Yes. That's
it's all the gym,
yeah,
that was considered Mrs. Gibbs' garden.
little park or
Yeah,
something.
there's a plaque.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Are we gonna move that?
Well,
or
I had
what?
that in my head for phase 2, because that's way more expensive over there, any work that you do over there.
The fence is gone, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna replace it.
No, I
That's
mean,
my
why
one
would-
complaint about that fence.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll
understand
ever-
why I was ever there. in the
Yeah,
first place,
I don't
but
think we'll ever replace the whole thing, but I think it might be nice to just have a bit of a picket fence across the front and to hide the garbage.
I had a sewer place as well.
Yeah. I talked to the sewer people. And they told me what I can and cannot.
Yeah, they have to be able to get
Propose
this
for
in. Yeah.
permits and so on. But it doesn't add to the loveliness of the monument at all.
And I read your proposal for perhaps some rocks around the actual monument itself. If I assume that.
Well, it's a rock
small,
wall.
a wall,
Just,
a wall.
it wouldn't be high. but it
Yeah,
would
no,
just-
you don't wanna.
Yeah, it would just kind of put it in place, because right now it's just. It's
Just
very
fix it,
messy.
yeah.
and-
This is for disabled people.
No,
No, it's
no,
not.
it's impossible to make that accessible.
Yeah.
I went in there with the intention
Okay.
of accessibility, but talking to the folks who actually know what they're doing as opposed to me. They just said, unless you want to spend significantly more, it's just not possible to make it accessible. It would be accessible to say people who no longer could climb up the hill right now to get to a bench, but it's not accessible in the sense of a wheelchair.
So the gym lot then would be the municipality's issue, not ours? The way I read the proposal, it seems like we're supposed to do that as well.
They're very fuzzy, okay? They're proposing to us that we do the management of the project, but they will pick up the cost to $5,000. And I was thinking we could also match that if we choose to do so when we do our budget. To match it, and then there's the possibility of a bit of a picket fence at the gym lot, which fences are very expensive, by the way. And I was also looking at Parade Square, which is
Yeah,
that
that's-
land
I'm-
above the
Yeah.
pool. Where right now there's several picnic tables and benches and so on, but the ground is all there, we could get accessible. We could get one path coming in from Victoria Road. And very simple, you didn't have to do a lot of flattening out to get a flat space there. And a couple of picnic tables and a bench, and we could do, it's like I don't know the right words, but it's the material that they use on the trails, and it packs down very solidly, and that it could be considered accessible for the picnic tables and the benches.
So this is all kind of.
This is all very
preliminary.
fuzzy. It's all very fuzzy. Apart from that, I have been doing Zoe Valley practically full time.
The beautification money is coming from the municipality.
They have proposed a budget of $5,000, which I have incorporated in.
Right,
the
I don't know if
thing.
it's their money or provincial money or.
Well, maybe it's provincial money, but they're saying it's them.
Okay.
And that has to be approved.
I'm waiting to hear from them. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we're not going to put the effort into going forward if they're not approving it. And it really, when we get to our budget,
Yeah,
then we'll decide whether we want to contribute to that as well. I had originally hoped that we could put the weather gate back on the gazebo there, but it doesn't really fit into the first plan. And Tom was interested in looking at some sidewalks and so on, but it works much better in phase 2, and the municipality was already thinking about it. So it seemed better, because this is the really preliminary stage where they're trying to do relatively inexpensive things.
No, it's just kidding.
So that's me.
Okay.
So the next thing is the court treasurer report.
Okay. I may even have a couple more little updates as we go through this, so. So the February bank statement's been reconciled, our main operations account opened the month with 461,000 and ended with 441. Account balances as of March 2nd are listed here in this chart. This So we see all the investments have some incremental increase. So the village budget status is on tonight's agenda under new business, so we'll circle back to that. Grant applications, we're waiting on responses from Canada Summer Jobs for lifeguards and a visitor information center student. Young Canada Works for a library student and the recreation facility development grant for Lido pool repairs. Note that some of the casualties in the provincial budget include grants the village has benefited from, including grants for accessibility, the recreation facility development grant above, so this will be its last year, and the growth and renewal for infrastructure development program, which will not be continued after this year. That's the 242,000 for the project that we canceled, but we had gone back to them to see if they would allow us to redirect it, and they're interested, but we still have to get a proposal and some numbers.
I have my fingers crossed that we can get the accessible entrance to the library done.
Yeah.
So that's still out there. It's like next year.
We're still
it's gone.
sitting on it. Next
Yeah.
year it'll be gone. Zoe Valley Financial, the library is a registered charity with Canada Revenue Agency since 1967, and it has a charitable business number. The public search currently shows directors, trustees, and like officials as Cynthia Lamson, Derek Wells, Colin McDonald, Thomas Bremner, and Barbara Fry. So these are obviously out of date. There is annual reporting in the form of a charity return and trustee info sheet. Tim Topping, the municipality's finance director and the treasurer for the library, will update CRA to change the agent from him to me.
We have
And
to do a fiscal report.
we have to do a return. That's why it's so important to keep everything so very, very separate. There is no record of the organization in the Nova Scotia Registry of Joint Stock Companies. Mr. Topping thinks that may be just a long-standing oversight, something to do in the fullness of time. It doesn't affect operations. The process for transferring the accounts from municipal ownership to the village is in progress and will be effective as of April 1st. The commissioners will be asked probably on the 1st to go to the Chester Scotiabank to sign documents for signing authority, following our established procedure of 2 to sign. I'll provide instructions when I get them from the bank. As you know, library accounts and records must be separate from village accounts and records. It will be set up as a separate company in Sage. There are 2 existing accounts at Scotiabank, the checking account, which has the full endowment fund of 201,000 as of March 2nd, but there's still some bills to be paid through to the end of the month. And this same account will continue with a change in ownership, which is great because we will still have the tax receipt books and so on that are applicable. An investment account with a 0 balance is there. It was previously used for the Chums Fund, and it will be again. It was cashed out of the investment fund and put into the checking account about a year and a bit ago. That fund was valued as of December 31st at 4,700. So that account will continue.
So that hasn't disappeared into general revenue irretrievably.
It's all in that big account. Everything's in the one account.
Yeah, but
So
how
we
do
separate it.
we carve out the fact that there's 4,700?
We just do it.
We just take that from the main account and move it. Yeah.
Well, what
Yeah.
happened is that Natalie Zink,
Oh, yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
reasoning and Natalie and all that.
she had gone to the former group and they just said, no, it's just going to stay in the account. And then after we were granted the RFP, then I went to Tim and he had to do some real digging.
To
but he
find
found
out what
it.
it should be. This is
Yeah.
what I was
Yeah.
asking. How do we know there's that exact?
He
amount
has
of
the
money?
documentation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So once we have the full amount in the one account, we'll hive off that jumps into its
It's on the count.
its previous investment account. But then most of that endowment, other than what we need for operation next year, we're For greater security and interest, we're investigating the pros and cons of either a second investment account versus the Community Foundation of Nova Scotia that Laura put me on to. The fund is not a true registered trust endowment. It's used in the sense of the vernacular. It's just a checking account.
Did you speak to Daniel? No, not yet, no.
I will report back with a recommendation. There is a donations link on the existing Zoe Valley website that which leads to a Canada Helps page for donations. And I was able to confirm that this sends alerts to Mr. Topping as the current treasurer. A new policy around library finances will be drafted to align with the village's stated intentions. And of course, following provincial and federal public sector and charitable requirements. I would also prefer to change the library's fiscal year from January to December, which it is now, to April to March to better align the budgets. Something to address after CRA is updated, so not, we'll get to this in the coming months. Staff are working with the municipality on notifying utilities of the changes in billing as of April 1st. I finally got a hold of Nova Scotia Power today. That was exciting. Okay, and then for the office move, an electrician will be doing some repairs and upgrades at 63 Regent Street. The electric panel for one, there appear to be ample electrical outlets as long as they all work.
He said he might have to put a couple of, I don't know the right.
Traeger?
word, but
Circuit.
Gas,
Yeah.
those.
The village's IT supplier G23 will go in around March 20th. That might not be able to quite happen. It might have to be next week to install the infrastructure for the village and library operations, including a separate Wi-Fi for the public to use. G23 will come back when Maxine and I are in to test everything. Everything not immediately needed is going to storage. Like we have, there's some boxes over there and some still in that room that have the archival materials we still have to maintain on paper. And some of the furniture will go starting tomorrow.
Did we ever find out if the fire department is or is not going to take table and chairs?
They haven't confirmed yet. I'm gonna guess they might not, only because where would they put it for the next 2 years until the,
Yeah, I agree. That's what I
Station
wondered when Nancy said she thought she had.
yeah, so we'll see.
We have a storage space.
We're in a municipality, actually.
Yes, yeah.
At least for a short.
That's confirmed.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my question for them. I knew.
Yes.
Yeah, Heather was going to rent a space and then I asked him
Mm.
and he said, yeah, he could squeeze us in up at the
Yeah.
space up on the RCMP.
Yes,
No, that,
and that's
that can't
firm.
be forever. but
That's
it-
firm.
it is for-
It's firm as long as it's available.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah.
when they need it for something else, then we cross that
Very
bridge.
helpful with Gibby, yeah.
Yeah.
Gibby's been amazing.
He's gonna do that for movie as well.
Yeah. Community organizations that have been using the village boardroom for meetings have been invited and have accepted, including the Merchants Association, to move with us and use the dining room. So this includes the Chester Fire Services Committee, which meets the second Wednesday of the month at 5 p.m. and the Chester Merchants Association, which meets the first Friday of the month at 9.
The dining room is the one immediately left when you go in the front door, isn't it?
No,
No.
I have never
the
seen
second.
it.
Oh,
We need to do a tour with you folks.
well, no, I was just there with Geraldine and went through it, but
Right.
when you said the dining room, the one that's most memorable to me is the great room, or whatever they call.
Yeah.
The living room. What a nice room. But anyway, I thought that first one was the big table and it was what's it called, the dining.
It's the second room.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
The
it's
dining
second,
room is
yeah.
opposite the door to the living room.
Yeah, okay.
So with all this in the works, staff do have a request that the village office be officially closed for the move. So we're asking if the office can be officially closed on March 30th and 31st to allow for the move to take.
Well, what do you think you should have to work and?
Yeah.
Hi.
You know, the amount of
Work out of our employees.
The amount of people that are looking to get in there.
I know.
Like, you know,
So I
think
have
that's
a
a-
motion.
I have to shut the building.
that is a reasonable request, I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like motion that you can do it.
Gloria.
I'll second, okay, go ahead.
Go on, you in there, Randy got it.
I'll second it, please, that the commission be allowed to close. For those 2 days.
Vote.
Oh, yeah, great.
So
Any objection?
what are March 30th and 31st?
It's a Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, it's a
It's
Monday.
April 1st is a Wednesday. so-
Yeah, not that.
Why do people think that April 1st is a holiday? It's not, is it?
No.
No.
April.
David should be holiday and many jokes are.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. Anyway, community grants. So just to, and this is the ones we give out, a reminder that the annual deadline for community grants is April 1st per the grant policy. And decisions are to be made in May, which is also part of the policy. So as of writing, applications have been received from the Chester Arts Center, Chester Farmers and Artisans Market, the Chester Merchants Association, and we've now actually also got the one from the Heritage Society. So we've got 4 in. So
Okay,
far.
so
The usual suspects.
Yeah, Arts Center, Farmers Market, Merchants, and the Heritage Society. Don't have the Playhouse yet.
For some reason, I had this idea in my head that last year we decided that we were going to increase that budget and we were going to change not so much change the deadline, is allow people to apply during the year. Am I dreaming it?
We talked about it.
It-
We had already given it.
I don't think we passed.
We did increase the budget between versions and then it went back.
Okay. So that's something we can talk about when we're looking at the budget. So I did hear that. at least.
Yes.
Okay,
But this original 10,000 is kind of spoken for because the policy hasn't been updated.
doesn't the yacht club usually apply for that?
They usually have a small one.
Yeah.
And usually the Playhouse has something, so.
Was there someone that was left out last year?
That was the merchant, that was the farmer's market. that we got.
Yeah. And they get in later, I believe.
Yeah.
Something
They
later.
do.
I got the one from,
And that is everything for me. Sorry, it's a lot this month.
Yeah, it's a big agenda. Okay, so we had, the minutes from the fire department, the Lunenburg County accessibility. And the VPAT, which was canceled,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So new business, you probably should explain this better than me, Heather.
Okay, let's jump down to this.
We're talking about operational spending now.
Before the budget.
Yes, this
Yeah,
is
'cause we're going
another,
to have several specific budget meetings, so.
yeah, as we normally, we'll talk about this more later, but as we normally do committee of the whole meetings to just do all the budgets, there's nothing else on the agenda. And just given the circumstances this year, the operating capital budgets are unlikely to be finalized before the start of the fiscal year on April 1st, which is not at all unusual for municipalities and villages. Usually we do better than most and have it done
Yeah.
pretty close to them, but we're actually one of the exceptions. So we are requesting pre-approval to pay basic operational invoices so that accounts don't fall behind or incur late payment charges. So the intention of this is really just housekeeping for the regular costs like wages, electricity, telephone, bank charges, cleaning, all those kinds of things. So nothing,
Extraordinary.
purchase orders and contracts can't be issued on any new operational, seasonal, or capital projects until the budget is passed. This is meant to just be, the regular ongoing things that never change. So the commission can authorize the requested pre-approvals for ongoing operational expenses as outlined above. The commission can amend the list above for pre-approvals, or you can decline to authorize any spending prior to passage of the budget. So obviously, we are hoping you will go for option 1. It is, as always, entirely up to you.
everything but the wages.
We might not be able to afford you.
I will move with option 1. Approve.
Thank you.
Yeah. Glorious.
Now, Randy, I heard you groaning.
Although,
Did you groan about that?
No.
You sounded like you were groaning.
No, no.
Okay, is there any further discussion? I'll put the vote, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This one is more yours, Geraldine.
Oh, right, geez. Yeah, and I didn't even bring the documents. Sorry, I've just been having a day. We need a few things. We're in that no man's land right now where we haven't actually had the transfer of the Zoe Valley funds, but there are certain things that we have to approve in order to move forward, but they're coming out of the Zoe Valley fund. So the first and most important thing is the front of the library is a mud bath. And we need to take care of that. I tried to manipulate Kirk Hume to give me a permit for a walkway, but he wouldn't, so I lost the battle there. I could probably overrule him, but it would take too much time and cause too many enemies, so. What we are going to do is landscaping, proper landscaping with drainage and so on and sand, and then some nice, I don't know what you call it, but you know, those nice flat. They look like
Flagstones, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
flagstones, that's it. But the problem is the road is here and the building is here and the path is here. And so every time it rains, you can well imagine what
Is
happens.
that the one that goes to the front door we're
Goes to
talking
the
about?
front door.
Yeah, okay.
And they're letting us leave the platform that's there and we'll just bring the sand up so that it's just a regular step. Because right now, from the ground
It's a big
to
step.
the top of that, it's like 14 inches.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
And it's really, really difficult. So that it could be as much as $10,000. One hopes that it'll be less.
Well, it's pretty big just for a
I,
little bit.
I
of gravel.
remember way back when we got into this, and I said, well, the municipality's gonna put this together, and that was an understanding, they would put that walkway in.
If they had, it would have come out of the same source of money, it doesn't matter.
Was it?
The other thing that we need to do immediately, I mean, is what is that we have to do?
It's the librarians reported that there's water
that's right.
damage from the damp and they've requested a protective backing be applied to the walls.
So is it actually leaking or just dampness from sitting there?
Well, I actually have the background story on that. The room that we have to do this in is when Zoe moved into that house, she put a library in that room, okay? And so that was the original library, but it didn't have any backing. It was just the shelves were built right into the exterior walls, just like here, okay? Then in the early 70s, the Michael Ondaatje room was built and they copied the shelving. But what happened is David Chapman Saunders, before he put the shelving up, he put a protective back in behind all the shelves and then put the shelves in.
This is in the
They're-
Dotsie room.
Yeah, but the shelves match perfectly what the original shelving, so visually. So now, as time has gone on, the paper and the plaster and so on are just slowly disintegrating because they're the original walls. And if you look down around the bottom, you can see like they've been put plastic and taping it in to prevent moisture and so on. And so David has been in, he's measured everything, and he will do it properly so there's protection at the back of the shelving, and it will match the Ondaatje one. And he's given us a very reasonable estimate of $4,200. He said it will not go over, but he hopes it might be less.
This is coming out of ZPL's fund.
Yes, now these are all capital things that come out of. And then there's one other thing that is not necessary, but that I would do. And Gippy's giving me an estimate of approximately $1,000, and it's the same thing. It won't cost more, but he hopes it will cost less. There's a door at the back of the living room, let's call it. It's called the club room. that goes to nowhere. Not only does it go to nowhere, on the outside, the shingles have all been put back, it's been insulated, everything. It's just a door that for some reason nobody took out.
So you need to fill in the wall, but.
I just want to
Yeah.
take the door and the frame away and just put some drywall there and just have a wall, because literally, if you could open the door, you could get insulation and shingles, because from the outside, there is no door. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and it makes it a bit awkward, because
Yeah.
that's where Maxine's office is going to be.
Oh, that's
So-
the door we were talking about.
Yeah, I would very much appreciate it if you would allow me to have my little peccadillo and have that door taken away. The first two things that I've asked you for are essential. And again, I do not think that front walkway will cost 10,000, but Stephen gave me the estimate for the walkway, he gave me an estimate of $5,000. But he unfortunately was on an airplane to Mexico when he got the refusal to have the walkway. So now I am saying to you, $10,000 maximum. I don't think about anywhere near that. But I'm just asking you to approve that, the 4,200 is $1,000. And obviously, we will try to keep everything as low as possible.
And all this comes out of the capital budget.
It all comes under the
So
Zoe
Valley's
Valley
down.
budget, not our.
After we get control of it.
Yes.
This walkway will be built.
Totally a treasurer and the building inspector. I already had the building inspector stand twice, so everything will be permitted, code, everything.
I know you don't like it, since it's a public building, should the walkway be. But when you stop concrete. Put pavers in, yeah, they're good for 5 years. Let me start with.
But the consensus, I will work on that, okay, but the consensus seems to be if we do that, because of the way that the ground goes and the base foundation is rocks, right? It's
Yeah.
not cement. There's a real concern that the drainage may not be good enough. And the water will back up into the building, which is why they want the gravel and then sand and then the pavers. But I will ask, because I have seen cement walkways on a couple of the 1800s buildings in town, and I have raised it. But so the concern is if we could get the drainage right, I'd rather have a paved drive.
Yes, pavers are fun, but you gotta maintain them every year.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they slip around.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that, and I have monitored about having a cement walk.
What was there, wood before, what?
It mud, nothing.
No, it was-
What happened is that the previous folks put in some wood. And it,
Oh, that's what.
yeah. And one of the difficulties that we have is that people think that where the fence is the property line.
Yeah.
It's not, the property line is like, I don't know, maybe 12 inches from the building. And then the rest of the property is provincial, belongs to public works.
And a lot of the places.
Yeah, and at any rate, so there's like a permitting.
Yeah.
Overlap and I'm pretty good at kind of fighting my way through that. But because I don't have Stephen to give you an actual estimate, I'm actually asking you for more money than I think that we'll actually need, but I need the approval just in case, because we're working fast trying to get open by mid-May.
so can I go back to the dampness issue?
Yeah.
For a moment? How can I put this? We're pretty sure there's not water coming down in behind the walls from the roof or anywhere else, it's simply.
No, it's just,
just a
we looked,
dampness.
yeah,
Okay.
and fortunately for us, they have completely insulated the building in the last couple of
Mm.
years. It's a brand new Ferguson, thank God. And the roof has been replaced.
So there's no actual leakage?
No, it's just.
It's simply
a whole building
creeping
that's-
damp,
Yeah.
as we used to call it,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So we're quite convinced that putting this backing in
We'll fix the
will
problem.
fix it. Yeah, and David is very well known.
Yeah, he's good, yeah,
Really
Yeah,
good
like high
craftsperson.
end stuff.
Yeah.
Was quite a lot of damage to the books person.
And there were some that,
Ruined.
Or.
yeah, well,
I saw
put it
some.
this way. It didn't matter that they were, the books that were
They
ruined
were junk.
were going anyway, so.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you don't want to take the chance of getting good books in there that could be.
So what do we have in the form of a motion or something?
So it's,
I read the original, but it's not here. with
We
my
have,
pen.
I'll just read it.
Yeah,
That the Chester Village Commission approve the proposed capital repairs to the front building entrance and walls of the adult collection room of 63 Regent Street. Funding for the repairs estimated at, and I just filled this in, 15,200.
Oh.
Um,
yeah.
plus HST to come from the Zoe Valley Trust account.
What's this $1,000?
and did you add my 1,000 dollars?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd be willing to make that motion.
Thank you, Randy.
That's it. Okay, Tom, thank you.
Yeah, I felt quite shy about asking about that door, but I'm really quite insistent on having that door removed.
You could use it as an onboard mystery.
Yeah.
No,
There went nowhere.
Door was there.
But I'm not,
For the longest time, I
have you been
didn't,
up to the library since?
No, not, well, years ago.
That's the one in the very back.
Yeah.
I get these two up there and
And,
they're-
You know,
no, this door is the one in the great room, in the living room.
Really, since you've been up there.
Yeah, yeah.
The room we're gonna hold the meetings in, right, so the big as this room?
Oh,
No, no way, no.
I'm gonna close.
I don't know.
There's a dining table that seats 12, so we'll be.
For us, it'd be
Yeah.
fine, but for the public, I don't know how that's going.
Well, it's bigger than you think. And there's panels that go into the dining room table, we could sit 16 in that room. And there's very few meetings that where you need to sit at a table that you need to sit more. than
I was
16.
thinking more of like this evening where there were what,
Accommodate
3 or 4 members of the public.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Not the public, it would see.
No, but what we had
We
here,
had,
Oh, yeah.
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 Where, this one, I mean, I think that's what you were
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
at, is it big enough
We,
to
we
hold the
couldn't,
public?
we couldn't
Yeah.
have like that crowd night.
No.
We'd have to move into the living room.
I was
and have
gonna
to
say,
be
we could
there.
just readjust if we knew there was a big crowd, we could refigure those.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space there.
There's.
Yeah, the living room.
There's several tables that, I mean, we'd be a bit squished, but we could sit at a table and we would fit.
Yeah.
And then have people sitting in the living.
Yeah.
Did I call a vote for that?
Nope, no.
May I? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
Huh.
Here we go. Oh, put my glasses on. Okay, now we've got to the surplus furniture. I got very excited there for a bit because Nancy Hatch thought she was going to be able to take the tables and chairs. Sadly, it's beginning to look less likely. She thought she'd be able to store them up on the second floor of the fire department.
Probably didn't get up there.
But because Gibby has offered us that accommodation up by the fire department, and Laura has very kindly offered to take the lead in getting the stuff sold, mostly obviously on the internet. So will anything that we can't use at the library, which is pretty much darn near everything, will have to be sold.
Yeah,
The
that-
only thing that I gave permission for the ladies to keep is their work chairs.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta get rid of our nice chairs.
I was gonna say, I was a little worried about all that too, until I went in the building, there's no room for it.
Well, if
We'll
we
have to
had
sit
to-
on kitchen chairs.
I got-
we don't know if this is gonna work here. We think it's gonna.
Oh, it'll work.
Well, why not store the furniture? Why, like, you get nothing for used furniture. It's
Yeah,
very
well,
expensive to
it's-
find it.
And we bought it as is.
What's that?
We bought this as is.
This year?
It's not new, we got it.
Kijiji, I think Jen found one for
It was
Kijiji.
either Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace.
But I think, well, go ahead, Tom, finish your thought.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean. I can see us, there's only 2 people who could run it, would be us and this.
Yeah.
So I see us running it. I'm not so certain that we're gonna be able to stay in it. I don't know that yet.
Tell me why you think that.
A lot of people have suggested, not Chris,
Yeah.
just harass them with one word in there, get us, to see us running it. They don't see the village in it, and so much of that, You're gonna know in about 3-4 months. When it's done. Someone asked me, go to work, I said, I don't know, yeah.
Well, we'll put it up there and, we'll see how long Gibby will let
If
us
he wants
stay
it
there.
out of there, then we'll have to make a decision.
So we'll put it up there and if he tells us go, then we'll have to sell.
Yeah, I tend to sort of agree with that because it may become non-doable if it. As an office, it may not work. I mean, you have to plan for the fact that it might not work. That's all.
Well, I think the likelihood is so low, but nevertheless, I mean, the only thing that I would care about keeping are these tables and these chairs. The rest of the stuff is just stuff.
Yeah, I have to say that was my biggest concern.
Yes.
If we had to go somewhere else in the future.
You see, the problem with these tables is they don't fold down nicely, you know, they take up so much room. You
They
know,
don't hold
have-
at all, do they?
They hold a bit.
The top folds.
Oh,
But
sort of flops down,
they're,
yeah.
you know, they're not space conscious, put it that way.
So at this point, we're looking at storing the stuff. Until such times as we get a feel for how things are
Or
going.
like,
Or Gibby throws us out.
Yeah. Are you? Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic that it's going to
It was
work.
so, but you have to plan for it, like not.
But it was very kind of Gibby to offer to move us, so we don't have to go
Oh,
buy,
yeah.
Rental truck.
a rental and hire people and all that. He's taking care of all of that, so it really.
Now,
He's getting rid of, you know, storage and everything.
Are we paying him
Yeah,
on
we
the
pay-
side or
no,
through our
We
contract?
can't pay on the side
Yeah.
because he has to be paid in cash and we cannot do that.
No, okay. No, I
And
just,
he
I
needs
put,
the truck and equipment and the other helpers as well.
Yeah.
and the municipality is happy with allowing that to be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Fred's good. Okay, so we're gonna store until we get fired.
I mean, everything may work out really well.
But I think that we should say if we have to, we can go ahead and sell it if we don't have. I don't want to hire a commercial. That's $125 a month for the space that we would need to start this thing.
Oh, yeah. That's what did she charge?
And that was $125 15 years ago. I don't know what it is
Oh.
now.
It'll take a lot of,
But we're not paying, yeah,
Very, you know, modest amount.
I assume where we're going through MODC, that
Yeah,
there'll
they're-
be a reckoning.
They're trying to be very accommodating. to
Yeah.
us Because we took so way off their hands.
yeah,
Anyway,
all right.
So.
Okay, so is everybody okay with that? We should have a motion that we will move all of our furniture that we're not moving to Zoe to the storage space that MODC has provided for us, but that we're not sure of how long we can stay there, and if we have to leave, we will have to at that point sell the furniture. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Laura. Okay, so budget updates. Heather and I have had one pretty quick meeting about the budget for the 26.
It was 90 minutes.
It was a quick for a budget, put it that way. But obviously, we have to have a budget meeting, just us, and specifically for going through it line by line to see where we want to go. So I guess the thing to do is look at our calendars and see when we can do that. Do you have some preferred time? Because I know you're busy with moving. Nobody's gonna get upset if we don't get this done by the end of the fiscal year. I mean, hardly any government ever gets their budget done by the end of the fiscal year. We've got people covered for day to day. So do you feel compelled to have this meeting before we get moved, or are you going to do
Do
it?
the first one next week, if you're available, it's ready.
Yes. Yeah,
What day
I'm
are you
happy with
thinking?
next week. I just didn't want to put too much pressure on you.
No, thank you, I appreciate that.
If this will be evenings, this week,
I don't know. What were you looking at?
I don't think it has to be.
I'm happy with daytime if everybody's happy.
I'm okay
daytime.
with Tuesday, the 24th,
I better look, I can work it.
or Thursday, the 26th. The other days,
I have a meeting on the 26th.
yeah, actually, I have busy.
What about Wednesday, not the 25th?
No, I have a dentist appointment at 3, which major work getting done, so.
Okay.
Should I just send around one of those little poll things or?
Now, let's
See if we can.
Okay, so far we've got the 23rd, 24th, and 27th. That looks okay for everybody, is that right or not?
Not the 27th.
Not the 27th.
For March, not the 24th,
Okay,
or the 31st.
I'm away on the 27th, 28th.
okay, so,
I have dentist appointment, which is a major appointment on the 25th.
okay, nobody has said anything about Monday.
Monday, let's do Monday. 23rd, 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
23rd works?
I have a 6 o'clock OHC, but it can be in the daytime.
Yeah. Is everybody okay with the daytime?
What about like 2 o'clock or something?
2 o'clock?
Does that work for you?
Yeah, okay.
I need to be at this, hopefully. Probably not this one, no, because it's just gonna be, unless you're dying to know all the details.
Okay.
You'll send out an invite for that?
Yep.
Okay, so where are we here, March 23rd?
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 o'clock.
2 o'clock, it would probably go at least an hour and a half, I would say.
Bring coffee.
Yeah.
We can get cookies. Do we want to set a second date now or do that night? Or that afternoon?
Let's do it that afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Because after we move, yeah, because it's coming up after we move.
So you're set the second date, not on the same day as the first.
No,
Set it
no.
at
to-
The meeting.
Oh,
So that
okay.
after-
Yeah,
after
good.
another
That could
committee
be
of
a
the
long
whole.
day.
Yeah, no, another committee of the whole to then whatever you've decided, the first one,
Yeah, yeah.
And are we gonna
the
have a
next
separate
round.
library budget, or that won't be that? Like,
it'll be in there, yeah, it's in
Okay.
there. It's a considerably more complicated budget this year than previously, so.
Okay, so that takes care of that. Commissioner roundtable, anything? And then after that, I think we can have a short break before we go to the meeting.
There's 8.5, no, that won't happen.
I want to request that the meeting be on the 22nd in April. Because I'm away and I will be home till the 20th.
Instead of what, 15?
Yeah, the week later. The
Okay with me? Anybody?
I'm sorry, what is it again?
22nd.
Instead of the 15th, the 22nd, will that work for you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Everybody else. No.
what kind of day?
We
Okay,
shouldn't be doing
Wednesday.
that. All you could do is you just don't come.
Yeah, but
it's the one, sorry.
22nd.
Instead of,
15th.
And that's that. Well,
Yeah.
Same thing, okay, I'm sorry, April 22nd, yeah. 6 o'clock.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, and Todd, we wanted to talk about the AGM and elections.
Yeah, I would like to, I'm assuming, you can tell me that, right or wrong. I'm assuming the two, the AGM and the June meeting, yes.
I have a calendar that me off. Nothing's written on it, just.
But we can, and you can have done in the past, have the election and the AGM the same time, yes or no?
We could, but we never have.
election
We did,
for-
we did one up at the
I think
Legion when Jeff
Lori-
was
Yeah,
here.
we have done that for sure, maybe not while you were.
We did it when Jeff was here.
At the Legion,
What are we doing? Okay,
We're talking about having the AGM and election on the same day.
Well, it would go relatively smoothly if there's only one candidate and they're in by acclamation.
there is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me put what I was gonna put on the table. The third Wednesday of June, we have the AGM and the June meeting all in one, we did last year.
Oh,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
yeah, we did that
That's
last
what we did last year,
Yeah.
and that was the 17th.
yeah.
It's the third, but
Yeah.
don't we have to have the AGM before then?
We have to have the AGM, just the rules. We have to have the AGM on or before July first.
Oh.
So we're okay there. And then the election must take place the Tuesday following the AGM.
Okay. That sounds perfectly normal.
So we
but-
have the meeting 17th of June then, if it's what we're talking about?
But I think we should have the,
The election should be ahead of time because normally I found that if you're not successful, your last meeting is the AGM. And the new person that started
but the new person doesn't get elected till after.
should be off before.
But the way that the MPA reads it.
It's not the MGA, it's our policy.
Oh, it's our policy?
Yeah, AGM just says you must do it before July 1.
No, what she had just said was for AGM and then the election was 1 week later, but I thought she was saying MGO, but what she was actually saying was policy.
The MGA basically says that it can either happen at the AGM or it can be set in a policy, which is what the village has. So our policy,
Where do we do it last year? Here, no?
no,
Yeah, we
oh,
did
yeah, that's
agree.
right.
Because no-
Because we
No,
got-
no,
we did it at St. Stephen's and we had the massive total of one person who stayed for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Probably.
Oh, from my.
Or you never know, though, this year we might have a herd event.
That's good.
No, there's not much.
No, well, no, I guess there isn't really, but, yes, no, I understand.
I think it's already down to 17.
Are you?
Oh, no, here, this meeting, it's
Oh.
just, here comes.
Yeah, the 17th.
Well,
was
what I would
normal.
prefer to do is have the commission meetings prior to the AGM rather than as a part of.
That's what we did.
I thought we did them together, though.
We did
Well,
it together.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure.
they're together, but you do the commission meeting and then the AGM.
Yes, or something, but it was all there. the
All
same
there.
night, Yeah, we had lunch.
What were you, represent that?
Pardon me?
What
Of last year?
Yeah, did we do, which did we do first?
We did I'm pretty sure, I checked my calendar, but I'm pretty sure we did the monthly meeting early, like we did it at
Yeah.
5 or
Oh,
something,
yeah.
and then
The AGM was that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I can confirm that.
Because we did bring in some, you went on cheese and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So I ran into the grocery store that day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good news.
We cooked for useless bits of information.
So. The 17th again is,
Oh,
the 17th is what we're looking at for both the AGM and the commission.
yes.
Starting at 5 p.m.
And the election would be,
The Tuesday after.
You will, of course,
On the
inform us
23rd?
by email of the
course.
decision, yeah.
Election will be on the 23rd.
I won't be here. Where did you go?
Oh,
Leave on the 18th and then get back to it on phone.
well,
But you know, I mean, the
Well, we
election
just
is
skidded the
election, who
AGM in
cares?
time for you then, didn't we?
Yeah, well, it was set up.
So
Well, yeah, the meetings, Patty,
or
I found
Okay,
that
what's the policy?
the bit in our election bylaw. Election day means the day the commissioners are elected to office, the first Tuesday immediately following the annual public meeting. Or another day as may be designated by the commissioners pursuant to section 411 of the Municipal Government Act. So. That is pretty loose. Yeah, basically it says. Either we can do it at the meeting or an election shall be held in accordance with the nomination and election bylaws of the village. So. That's all it says.
So it's either at the AGM or the Tuesday
Tuesday
following.
following.
Yeah.
And given that, if we have an election day, it's like the full day that people can vote.
Yeah, we
So
think
there's
it's
a
better.
bit more acceptance to
And
it.
there's a pre, what do we call
And there's a
Advance
advanced poll on the
it?
Saturday,
Advanced poll.
and the hours are written out in
Used to
bylaws,
have
so
the
it's another
separate
full
nomination.
day.
Ending day, that's a.
But it does give more people a chance to vote.
Well, I mean, I mean, you know, that's, I don't see the necessity of me.
No, you're not.
I could like to vote for whoever we go.
That's why you have the advance.
But I'll be gone, like, all of it, the 18th, 19th, 18th, I leave, so.
That's why we did the proxy.
Yeah, I could do a proxy if I knew the nominees, but I don't know if I'll know them.
Okay, so are we settled then the 17th for the AGM and the 22nd for the election, or 23rd? My
23rd.
apologies.
So the regular meeting is at 5
Yes.
and AGM is at 6:30.
6:30, 7, might be 7 if people have supper and so on. What do you think?
Is it in
We
the?
usually
is it
do
in
it
the
at
pub-
6:30,
6:30?
but that, it's not in
Fine
the
with me.
policy, we can do whatever.
That's gonna be. in the
That's the-
library.
Leave it at
That's
6,
right.
like, all the.
The AGM at 6?
Yeah, well, it gets creatures of habit.
Nobody comes to the 6 o'clock meeting.
Nobody comes
except
to
us.
the AGM.
Okay, I don't care. AGM 5?
You wanna say 6?
No, the commission meeting 5, AGM 6:30 or 6. I think 6 o'clock is a bit early for folks.
Well, then we
who
can
wanna
eat
get home
from
and have their
6 to
supper.
6:30, you get
Yeah.
a microphone.
We could bring in something for all of us.
And then the election is on the 23rd.
Yes.
Or in the 20th of November.
AGM lasts all 10 minutes.
That doesn't last long. You have to do the audit, like you have to do all the things that you have to.
Yeah, no, I got it. Okay.
So
Okay,
I guess Heather, you will be sending around a circular with all. these
Correct.
dates.
So you,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you're gonna do
Sure.
the motion.
okay, so that was our commissioner roundtable, the next.
Do you have dates for the election, Heather? Like what?
Yep, the 23rd is the Tuesday following, so
Okay, is that the advance?
And I
the advance would be the 20th.
20th and 23rd.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I will send all that around, so.
Yes, I can do it.
So I'm
That
leaving.
is my election.
Have you right now?
Thank you, Maxine.
Okay, the next thing
Thanks.
will be the in
Thanks,
camera, and, if we could please have a 5-minute recess to. Geraldine to visit the ladies' room.
Oh, we need the motion to go in.
Oh.
That's sorry.
We're not going in camera yet, we're having a break.
We can recess before we do, I'll turn it off. Usually we just
Okay.
make a motion and then.
I will accept a motion to go in camera.
I
Thank
will
you,
move that.
Randy. Second, thank you, Laura. All in favor?